What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Reach for your phone, skip breakfast, leap out of bed like a ninja with arthritis. Well, congratulations. You may be unknowingly scheduling a meeting with a stroke, and the appointment is set somewhere between brushing your teeth and brewing your coffee. Here's the uncomfortable truth they don't print on retirement brochures. Stroke is the second leading cause of death worldwide, and for those of us over 65, it loves to strike in the early morning. That's right, before you've even had a chance to ruin your coffee or argue with your blood pressure meds. Your brain may already be fighting for oxygen, but don't panic. Well, not yet. This video is your humorous but honest tour through the 7 most dangerous things seniors do in the first 30 minutes of the day, plus 2 strange ones you've probably never even considered. We'll talk bladder betrayal, breakfast, neglect, and even the ancient Buddhist wisdom of don't pee, later pee now. So stay with us, laugh a little, learn a lot, and remember, you might be getting older, but that doesn't mean you have to do it recklessly. Part 1. The breakfast you skipped might be the stroke you ordered, or how not eating might be your fastest path to the afterlife. Let's get one thing straight. Skipping breakfast is not a sign of wisdom, discipline, or spiritual minimalism. It's more like playing Russian roulette with a bowl of air. You see, after 8 to 10 hours of sleep, your body, this noble, creaky, ancient temple, is running on fumes. Your blood sugar is low. Your blood is thicker than your nephew's excuses for not calling. And your heart, it's working overtime just to keep the lights on. Now imagine this. You're 72. You wake up. You feel a little woozy, but you skip breakfast because you're not hungry. Or you read somewhere that intermittent fasting is trendy. That might work for 30-year-olds named Chad, who live on protein shakes and denial. But you, my friend, are not Chad. When you skip breakfast, your body starts panicking. It releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, raising your blood pressure. Add a sprinkle of thickened blood, hardened arteries, and a pinch of unmeditated rage, and what do you get? A stroke, or what I like to call breakfast skipped but delivered anyway. Here's the good news: you don't need to make a feast. A banana, a slice of toast with nut butter, some soaked almonds like the monks do. Something simple to remind your brain that it's not being punished for surviving the night. In Buddhism, we say the body is a vehicle for awakening, but let's be real, it won't get far on an empty tank. So tomorrow, eat something, not for energy, not even for health. Eat because you're alive and you want to stay that way. Part 2. Morning doom scrolling, how your phone could be your stroke trigger, or how checking the news might be shortening your life. 1. Panic at a time. You wake up. The birds are chirping. Your heart is adjusting to being alive again. And what's the first thing you do? Reach for your phone, swipe up, and boom, before your blood pressure even has a chance to stabilize, you're bombarded with war, economic collapse, celebrity divorces, and that message from your niece that just says, "We need to talk." Lovely. Your poor nervous system hasn't even stretched yet, and already you've tossed it into an emotional blender. Here's the unfunny truth. Your blood pressure naturally spikes in the morning. This is normal. It's your body waking up. But when you add mental stress to that physical spike, you've created the perfect cocktail for a cardiovascular event. Your cortisol soars, your arteries tighten, and your blood thickens, ready to host the next stroke like a red carpet premiere. It's what I call digital terrorism before tea. From an elderly psychology lens, many of us reach for the phone out of habit, loneliness, or fear of missing out. But what we're really doing is flooding our waking mind with other people's crises before we've even had time to meet our own breath. And from a Buddhist perspective, that's a surefire way to begin your day in delusion. Instead of feeding the monkey mind with chaos, try this. Open your eyes, feel the breath, wiggle your fingers, drink some water, and for 5 sacred minutes, Do nothing, absolutely glorious nothing, because here's the truth. No one ever had a stroke from stretching quietly in the sunlight. And as Ram Dass might say, be here now. Not on Facebook. Part 3, coffee before water. Congratulations, you just dehydrated your brain, or the caffeine trap, that's been cheering you into a stroke. Let's talk about your beloved morning ritual. You know the one. The sacred moment where you shuffle half-conscious into the kitchen and bless yourself with a hot cup of hope. Coffee black maybe, with a dash of guilt and a splash of denial. Here's the problem. You're not a 25-year-old barista in Brooklyn. You're over 65, and what feels like comfort might actually be betrayal in a mug. You see, after a good 7 or 8 hours of sleep, your body wakes up in a mild state of dehydration. Your blood is thicker, your organs are parched, your brain is floating in what might be best described as a raisin smoothie. And what do? We go straight for a diuretic caffeine, which then pulls even more water from your system. It's like running a desert marathon with a salt shaker. This creates the perfect conditions for blood clots. High pressure, and what we like to call, in the geriatric enlightenment community, sudden unscheduled brain maintenance, also known as a stroke. Let's be honest, you don't need to quit coffee. You just need to pause the ceremony, delay the divine. Give your body what it actually needs. First, a tall, beautiful glass of water. Maybe add lemon, maybe a pinch of salt. Treat it like holy hydration. In Buddhist teachings, we're reminded craving arises not from the object, but from our misunderstanding of what the body truly seeks. You think it's caffeine. It's actually life force. So here's your new morning mantra: water first, then worship. Part 4. Holding your pee is not a noble act of discipline. It's a blood pressure bomb, or the enlightenment you're postponing. While your bladder screams for mercy. Yes, the morning moment of truth. You wake up, nature whispers in your ear, hey, it's time. And what do? You ignore it. You lay there scrolling, thinking, plotting your breakfast, but not peeing. Listen closely. That's not patience. That's plumbing, neglect, holding in urine. First thing in the morning is like playing Jenga with your circulatory system. Your bladder expands, your heart rate climbs, and your blood pressure rises like it just got a call from your ex. That sudden internal pressure can act like a loaded gun pointed directly at your weakest artery. Especially for seniors where arteries are stiff, the heart is slower to adapt, and everything inside is already a bit, let's say, emotionally fragile. From an elderly psychology standpoint, we often delay peeing out of habit, embarrassment, or sheer stubbornness. Some think I'll go after I make coffee. Or worse, I'm training my bladder. Well, spoiler alert, your bladder doesn't need a personal trainer. It needs a release strategy. And in Buddhist thought, there's a lesson here too. The first noble truth is dukkha, suffering. And sometimes suffering comes from resisting the very urge that would set you free. So here's your morning spiritual practice: wake, pee, breathe, repeat. Let it go, literally. Because enlightenment is impossible when you're clenching both your ego and your bladder. Part 5. Jumping out of bed, fast. Why not? Just step into your own grave. Or the tragedy of moving like a ninja, when you've got the circulation of a bonsai tree. You ever see someone over 70 try to leap out of bed like they're auditioning for Cirque du Soleil? Of course you have. Maybe that someone is you. The alarm rings, or worse, the urge to pee, and suddenly you're sitting up, standing, walking, except your blood hasn't caught up. Neither has your brain, and that slight head rush, that's not enlightenment, that's hypoperfusion, a fancy word for your brain not getting enough blood. What happens next? Dizziness, a wobble, maybe even a fall. And if you're lucky, you just bruise your ego. But if you're not, you wake up in the hospital, or not at all. Here's the medical truth. When you rise too quickly, your blood pressure drops while gravity yanks blood away from your head. Younger bodies bounce back. Older bodies, They negotiate, slowly, reluctantly, and sometimes not at all. In Buddhist psychology, this moment is metaphor. Awakening shouldn't be rushed. You don't force a lotus to bloom by yanking it open. So here's your new sacred sequence. 1. Open your eyes. Smile at the ceiling like it owes you money. 2. Wiggle your toes. Make sure they're still under warranty. 3. Sit up slowly, like you're 600 years old and full of secrets. 4. Let your feet dangle. Breathe. 5. Stand gently, like you're stepping into the day, not escaping a fire. This takes 60 seconds, but it could save your life and your dignity. Because let's be honest, nobody wants their obituary to start with. They got up too fast. Part 6. Mouth breathing. The secret morning habit that starves your brain, or how sleeping like a goldfish might be slowly ending your career as a living human. Here's one nobody talks about at the senior center between Tai Chi and prune juice. Mouth breathing. Yes, that innocent-looking yawn fest you do at night with your jaw flopped open like a retired opera singer. But here's the catch. If you're over 65 and waking up with a dry mouth, foggy brain, and the vague feeling that your soul left through your nostrils, it wasn't a ghost. It was oxygen, and it took your blood pressure stability with it. Breathing through your mouth at night reduces oxygen intake, dries out your airways, increases your heart rate, and raises your stroke risk by morning. Especially for seniors whose respiratory muscles are weaker and whose brains are already walking a tightrope called vascular dignity. And if you think I'm exaggerating, let me paint a picture. You're 74. You've just slept 8 hours, but wake up feeling like someone replaced your brain with cotton balls. Why? Because instead of breathing like a calm monk, you were sleeping like a dehydrated bulldog in July. In Buddhist tradition, the breath is sacred. The nose is the gate. The mouth is the emergency exit. And if you're using the exit all night, no wonder your brain wakes up feeling evicted. So here's your solution. Nasal strips. Yes, even if you look ridiculous. A humidifier. Sleep on your side, not like a mummy in denial. Practice deep nose breathing before bed. Inhale, presence. Exhale, panic. Because here's the truth. If you're waking up like a fish, you're not aging gracefully, you're suffocating artistically. Part 7. Skipping your morning shower. You might be marinating in stroke risk. Or why starting the day in yesterday's sweat might be a spiritual and vascular mistake. Let's talk hygiene. And I don't mean the kind that ends with lavender body wash and a rubber duck. I mean the ritual of waking up your circulation before your arteries start plotting against you. If you're skipping your morning shower because you think, I didn't sweat that much, congratulations. You are now aging in your own marinade. But worse, you're missing out on one of the simplest ways to reduce morning stroke risk. You see, taking a lukewarm or mildly cool shower. First thing stimulates your vagus nerve, increases blood flow, and gently kickstarts your cardiovascular system without shocking it like a pot of scalding regret. It helps regulate blood pressure, reduce inflammation, and gives your sleepy blood vessels a reason to participate in life. Plus, there's something psychologically sacred about washing the night off you like a monk preparing for temple. In Buddhism, water symbolizes purification, not just of the body, but of mental residue. And let's be real, you probably picked up a little bitterness in your dreams last night. Rinse it off. Now, I'm not asking you to do a cold plunge like a Scandinavian influencer. Just a 2-minute rinse. Feel the water, breathe, wake up your skin, tell your blood, we're doing this gently. Because if your morning ritual consists of rolling out of bed and wandering the house like a forgotten casserole, your heart might decide it's time to hit the off switch. Shower, like you love being alive. Because guess what? That's the whole point. Here's the uncomfortable truth, dressed up in a cozy bathrobe, how you wake up is how you live. And for those of us over 65, the first 30 minutes of the morning are less about productivity and more about not dying before breakfast. We're not here to scare you. Okay, maybe a little. But mostly, we're here to remind you that you've come too far, survived too much to be sabotaged by things like skipping toast, clenching your bladder, or waking up like you're being chased by your electric bill. Stroke is not some cosmic punishment. It's a system overload. And the systems, they're yours to protect. So pause before you rise. Breathe before you scroll. Drink water before you caffeinate. Shower like you're washing off the past. And for heaven's sake, eat a banana. In Buddhism, we say, each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. Let today be the day you stop treating your body like it's disposable. It's not a rental, it's the last vessel you'll ever drive. You don't need perfection, you need presence. And maybe a gentle reminder, death can wait. Your bladder can't be here now. Hydrated, fed, showered, and alive.